This Braxton drama never ends.
Call daddy, tell him 25 got it. Call daddy, tell him 25 got it. Call daddy, tell him 25
What's good, everybody? Thank you all so much for clicking on the video. I really appreciate it. Y'all, I want to come down here real quick to talk about the Braxtons, okay? Now, if you've been watching the Braxtons this season, you already know that there's major drama between Tamar Braxton and her sisters. Tamar claims that one of her sisters, or all of her sisters, sent her a cease and desist letter meant to shut down her podcast and her business, right? All of the sisters denied any involvement with the cease and desist, and Tamar calls BS because the cease and desist was sent by their family attorney. As soon as Tamar said that, although they didn't say his name in the episode, I knew exactly who they was talking about, and they was talking about Antavius. Now, if you've been watching the show, well, if you've been watching the Braxtons before it was called the Braxtons, back when it was called Braxton Family Values, then you already know Antavius has been the family attorney for years. He even filmed several scenes with the sisters on the show. I remember him filming with Tracy. Yeah, he filmed with all of them. Okay? Where apparently he's a host of a podcast with three other men called The Brothers, and he and one of the other hosts are very involved in this cease and desist drama, okay? Now, on the latest episode of The Brothers, they discuss Antavius going viral in the drama surrounding the cease and desist. Now, for them to say that Antavius went viral is a stretch, because honestly, I don't remember them saying his name. I remember Tamar saying the family attorney, and I just remember thinking Aquarius, right? I remember it was some, no shade, ghetto name. I remember it was some, funny name, but I would have never thought Antavius if I had to. That's the name that you got to hear again to think of Antavius. I just really thought Aquarius. But they didn't say his name in the episode, because if they did, I would have remembered Antavius and said it in the review, and I don't remember saying his name in the review. Now, first of all, Antavius confirmed that he is, in fact, the attorney that sent the cease and desist to Tamar, which we all knew. It wasn't a shock. I've seen him film with the sisters again pretty much through the years, so I knew that that was the attorney that they was talking about. Now, Antavius said that no Braxton with a vagina requested a cease and desist. It was not sent on behalf of the sisters. In fact, he had no idea that the cease and desist was even being sent. Now, we're going to come back to that later on in the episode. Let me just tell y'all what's going on, and then I'm going to tell y'all my thoughts about it later, okay? Now, he lets us know how a cease and desist works. He said when the cease and desist is served, the recipient of the cease and desist knows exactly who it is sent from, what the person is claiming that the recipient did, and what the recipient needs to stop doing. So in this case, Tamar is the recipient. She knows who sent the cease and desist, and she knows what she needs to stop doing, okay? Antavius seemed very upset because he threatened Tamar. He said that he was going to publish the cease and desist to the public if she kept playing with him. And I quote, "If she keeps playing with me, I'm going to publish the cease and desist because the client gave me permission to do so." Okay? Now, the client is the brother. I believe that the client is Michael Braxton Jr. I believe that he's the one that sent the cease and desist, if I haven't said that already. I believe Michael is the one who sent the cease and desist. And I think that he's probably letting Antavius publish it or giving Antavius the okay to publish it because of the antics that Tamar are putting on, and it's kind of making the family look bad, right? Tamar knows exactly who sent it to her. She's showing out for the cameras, and she did accuse the sisters of sending her the cease and desist. She said that was the reason why she didn't want to film with them. So all you new Tamar fans out there, let's stop playing the game. She said that it was the catalyst for her and her sisters not getting along. They've been getting along way before then, right? And she said that they did not respond to her to a cease and desist that was from them. So she did accuse them of sending her the cease and desist, even though she know that they didn't do it. Okay. Now, he was asked by one of the other hosts if she had that information all along, why is she acting like the sisters did it on the show, and did the producers put her up to it? Antavius said that he couldn't answer that question because he didn't see the Braxtons and the Kardashians as an ambush style type of show. I definitely think that the producers possibly could have put Tamar up to it, specifically OG. I think that he is creating a deeper divide within the sisters, and I'm standing on that. Towanda did not say she did not want Tamar at her bridal trip or bachelorette trip, whatever you call it. She did not say that. Now, she did say that she didn't want Tamar at the wedding because she was unpredictable. And she said that after the fallout. But she did not say that she didn't want Tamar at her bridal trip. What she said was she might fuck it up. That's what she said. Okay? Tamar also on the show, she tried to weaponize Logan and made it seem like that she was upset because somebody gave her address to the process server and they put it on her door. Okay? Now, one of the co-hosts on the show, Fred, was actually the person who left the cease and desist. He's a senior paralegal for Antavius. And according to him and Antavius, the cease and desist was left at the concierge of Tamar's building because she has a son, and they didn't want strangers to come to her door because she has a son, and they didn't want the neighbors in her business despite the way that she behaves. They actually care about her and her son. That's what Antavius said. Despite the way that she behaves, he actually cares about her and her son. Okay? So, according to Fred and Antavius, well, according to Fred, because he's the one who delivered it, he said that the cease and desist was left at the front desk with the concierge that just had Tamar Braxton on it, and it also said personal and confidential. It didn't say anything about a law firm, so the people at the concierge, I used to work concierge, we was nosy, but we was nosy, but we wasn't opening mail or nothing like that, and if we got a letter from a law firm, who would have thought that somebody was being sued or, they was being sent to cease and desist? Now, if a process server did come to the building where I worked at, we did have to go and take them up to the unit. Because the building that I worked at, you had to, the person who lived, the residents had to okay a person to become up. But if it was a process server, in California, it is again, you have to let them up. And so we would have to go up there with them. And if the person didn't answer their door, they just left whatever they were serving on their door and taped it to their door. Okay? Yeah, so here's what I think. I think that after Ashley's story went viral, I think that Tamar, being the stunt queen that she is, she thought that it would be a good idea for her, as in Tamar, to have Ashley on her podcast. And not only would it be good for her to have Ashley on her podcast, it would be good if they ended up recording it in front of an audience watching. Okay, I think that Tamar probably had it out there into the public and had it out there on social media, and Michael saw it, and I think that Michael shut it down. Okay, and what I'm about to say don't got nothing to do with Antavius because he only knows what he is being told. I think that the cease and desist may have came from Michael Jr. with Michael's name on it, but I definitely think that the sisters had something to do with it, and at the very least, Trina did. I do. I don't think that Antavius is lying, but I only think that he knew what his client is telling him. I believe that if Trina is involved, then I believe Towanda knew as well. It's been two things that stood out to me at this table scene with the blow up, and we keep getting glimpses of the table scene every episode. So I don't know exactly what episode it was, but Trina was very quiet at that table, and it almost seemed like Trina was laid back and she let the sisters take on Tamar, right? But it was two things that stuck out to me with Trina. Now, the first thing you could also see it in the trailer in one of the episodes, but I know for sure she said it in the trailer. Trina said that her name is nowhere on the cease and desist. And she said if Tamar look at the cease and desist, she know who sent her the cease and desist, and her name is nowhere on the cease and desist. So she doesn't know why she's being accused. And so the only way Trina would know for sure that her name isn't in the documents is if she was told that. Because other than that, she doesn't know she doesn't know that she was mentioned, or if she was mentioned or not in the documents. You follow what I'm saying? Somebody had to tell her that her name wasn't in the cease and desist. And it gives me that she was talking to Michael about it, and she requested, Michael, please don't put my name in this. I don't want my name to be put in here at all. And so I believe that Trina had, she had a lot to lose if her name was in the cease and desist. Okay? And also, the second thing that stood out to me, when Tamar claimed that the cease and desist was left on her door, remember Trina said, it was left on your door? Yes, Trina said that. It was left on your door? And Tamar said, you see this bitch? You see this bitch? Because the thing is, Trina knew the ins and outs of the whole operation. She knew the ins and outs of the whole operation. She knew that Ashley was going on that podcast. She knew everything, and she didn't want to be involved with it. Michael don't really got nothing to do with the show. And so she sent it, told Michael to send it, so she didn't have to really talk about it on camera. I definitely believe that Trina has something to do with it. Okay? I feel like that Michael felt like that Tamar was exploiting Ashley in her story. And I think so as well. I think Tony did tell Tamar that they should have Ashley on the show. And I do think that she told her not to have Ashley on the Chitlin circuit. I think the fallout happened because Tamar was trying to control the narrative. Remember, when Ashley came out with her story, she said that one of her aunts and her family wasn't fucking with her no more, wasn't talking to her no more, right? So the Braxtons as a whole took a hit. And Tamar wanted to make sure, she's self-centered. She wanted to make sure that she wasn't associated with the family, and she never gave the other sisters a chance to clear their names, okay? Now, I do believe that Tony didn't know. If Towanda didn't know, I believe that she would have said it by now or made it known on camera. So, of course, Trina knew, but I don't believe that Towanda didn't know. I believe that Towanda knew. I believe that Tamar and Tony did not know. Okay? Now, Ashley said that the text messages happened when she was 16, and so she's 34, and so that means that she was born in 1991. Her birthday is in September. So this happened in around 2007, maybe 2008. So if she's saying, so I'm confused on whether it either happened 2007 or 2008. I can count, but when she said that she was 16, I'm thinking her birthday was in September. And so I'm thinking that she's saying that maybe she was 16 when it happened and got caught because her birthday when she got back home. It really depends. So this either happened in 2007 or 2008. And knowing that, I do kind of side-eye Trina a little bit. Well, not a little bit, a whole lot of it. Because this was before the Braxton started. And I know that some of y'all can forgive y'all spouses for cheating. Listen, I never could. Would never be able to. But it's a whole nother ball game when you cheating or flirting with family or even entertaining it, right? Y'all say it don't matter who started the text messages. I do believe it does. I believe at 16 or 17, if you're initiating text messages, you know exactly what you're doing. But I think that we all can agree to the fact that Gabe was entertaining cheating with someone who is a family member of Trina's, right? And not only was it a family member, it was someone who was underage. And that is a whole nother level of disrespect. There's no love there. There's no love there. And the fact that you was entertaining it, even though you didn't fall through, allegedly, Ashley says she didn't fall through. Gabe is not here to tell his story. Even though you didn't fall through, the fact that you was even entertaining it to me is enough for a divorce. I'm not going to say that it's enough for jail time because, you got to actually do something for jail time. But, maybe weekend jail. I don't know. But I think that there was enough. The fact that you were even entertaining it to me is crazy. And so I think that all of this took place now that I know that Ashley is 34. And this happened around 2007, 2008. It means that all of this took place before we met Trina on Braxton Family Values. I never heard of the Braxtons before. Like, I knew that it was a group called the Braxtons, but Slow Flow and all of that, I don't ever remember that playing on my TV. I knew that Tony Braxton had some sisters that did a little yang over here, but the boss and stuff, I've never seen any of those videos until I seen the Braxton Family Values and I looked them up. So I didn't know that Tony had all of these sisters like that. But my point is that is when I first met Trina. And she was still with Gabe on that show after 2008. The show started in 2011. So she was still with Gabe after 2008. and she remarried him and everything. Now, Trina did admit on the show that his dick was made of gold. But baby, where is the love for yourself? This man was entertaining your underage niece. That is enough for divorce. God ain't made a dick that should be able to have you doing this, but giving that, that's too much. Not only is you cheating or entertaining cheating on me, but well, he was cheating. So not only was you cheating with family members and you cheating with underage family members or even entertaining it. To me, that is wild, Trina. That's wild. At the very least, Trina, if you believe that Ashley initiated it or anything, you have to admit that Gabe was at least entertaining it. Okay? Now, Ashley said that the aunt never told her that she blamed her. That was just the vibe that she got. That the aunt thought that she wasn't as innocent as she let on and that she knew what she was doing. But the thing is, Ashley was around, so I'm wondering, were there instances where everyone was together and Trina didn't want Ashley at her house or something? Or maybe, or didn't make her, maybe Gabe was around and Trina didn't want her around Gabe. I wonder what happened for Ashley to pick up that vibe. I wonder what happened for Ashley to pick up that vibe because she never said that Trina said those words to her. That was just the vibe that she got. And we know vibes can be different, especially for people like me, like an overthinker. I'm an overthinker, so any type of change that I see, I'm automatically going overdrive with my thinking. Did I do something? What happened? Yada, yada, yada. And so my thing is, just because you thought that doesn't mean that it was true. And I'm just saying it doesn't necessarily mean that it was true. But I do want to know, was it like a barbecue and Trina, everybody knew and Ashley wasn't invited? Like what happened? Okay. Now, I'm still standing on what I said. I think that Trina and Michael Jr. chose to keep this away from the family because they didn't want Ashley to wear a scarlet letter. But I will also add on there, I think that it was also to save Trina the embarrassment. I think it was also to save Trina the embarrassment. Because she stayed with that man. I remember reading on Facebook a while back. It was a post about a girl, and she had a little sister or something like that. And they was either at her aunt's or her grandma's house, and her little sister had on a nightgown. The little sister was like 5 or 6 years old, and the little girl took a shower and she came out in her little nightgown, maybe Beauty and the Beast or Princess and the Frog or something like that. And she came into the living room with the rest of the family. And an aunt or somebody in the family, an elder in the family, had told a little girl not to come out the restroom like that. It's men in the house. And I remember the older sister was saying, well, what kind of men are in the house that they're looking at a 5 and 6 year old girl in a nightgown? Right? What type of men are in the house that they look at this 5 or 6 year old girl with a Beauty and the Beast pajamas on? And I think that a lot of people, and especially some women, have this notion that men just can't control themselves. But that's bullshit. I'm here to tell you that's bullshit. They can control themselves. Gabe could have controlled himself. He didn't have to entertain that 16-year-old girl, whether she started the text messages or not. I will give y'all that. He did not have to entertain that. He wanted to entertain it. And Trina, I'm side-eyeing you, mama. Me now knowing that all of this happened before the Braxton Family Values, and for you to be entertaining Gabe in any capacity, and the fact that you even remarried the man again, is diabolical. Diabolical. Where is your self-worth? Yes, he helped you raise your kids, girl, but girl, at a certain point, there's just so much disrespect that you can take. I don't give a damn if the dick was made of gold or not. I wouldn't give a damn. Okay? But tell me, what do y'all think? Do y'all think Trina is more involved with this cease and desist than she says she is? And how do y'all feel about Tamar accusing her sisters of something that she know that they didn't do? Let me know in the comments. But Thank y'all so much. And Antavius, and let me Antavius real quick. I think that this is very unprofessional. I think this was very unprofessional for him to go on a podcast talking about stuff. I just think that nowadays everybody want to be famous. I think that this was so unprofessional. If you felt that Tamar was doing something that was out of line and you wanted to publish the documents, publish the documents. For you to be going on there threatening stuff and talking the ins and out and letting us know who are giving clues, who sent the cease and desist, I just thought that that was totally unprofessional. And he also let it be known that when we rank in the sisters in order of the most, he said that the Braxton girls, none of them are broke. But if you had to rank them in order of their portfolios of who got the most money, he said it would actually be Tony, then Trina, then Tamar, and then Towanda. But he said none of those girls are broke. And he also let it be known that what I've always told y'all before, just because Toni Braxton filed bankruptcy does not mean that she was broke. Toni Braxton, what a lot of people don't know, if you saw her movie on Lifetime, shout out to Garcelle. If you saw her movie on Lifetime, Toni Braxton actually won a lawsuit against LaFace Records for like $22 million in the 90s. When people was running around saying that she was broke just because she filed bankruptcy. She was not broke. She was not broke. So we really need to get out of that mindset. I remember T-Boss had filed bankruptcy, and I remember she was doing an interview and she was saying, when Black people file bankruptcy, y'all say that they broke, but when white people file bankruptcy, they regrouping. And that's true. And I also think it depends on who you like or not. Whether you like somebody or not, y'all give them excuses, or y'all choose to advocate for them, rather, depending on what they got going on. But y'all, that's all I got right now. Y'all, thank y'all so much for clicking on the video. I really appreciate the love and support, and I will see y'all later. Adios.